In the quiet cradle of the ancient world, long before modern science brought its calm explanations, people looked to the sky with equal parts wonder and fear. The heavens were not just a ceiling of clouds and light, but a divine curtain, a realm where gods whispered, judged, and occasionally sent signs to the fragile humans below. Among all those signs, none unsettled the human heart as deeply as the moment the rain fell red. Tonight, as you let your breathing soften and your body grow still, we drift together through the centuries, tracing the soft, rhythmic fall of a strange rain that once made entire civilizations tremble. Let the story carry you gently, like a slow-moving cloud, toward a deeper rest. The earliest records of red rain come from ancient Greece. Imagine a quiet morning in the hills near Olympia, the horizon painted with the soft blue haze of dawn. Farmers step out to begin their day, and priests prepare offerings to the gods. But then, the wind shifts. A warm, dusty breeze brushes the earth, carrying with it a strange silence. The sky, once pale and gentle, begins to darken with a deep crimson tint. When the first drop falls on a stone doorstep, a woman gasps, stepping back. The droplet is red. Another lands on the earth, then another. Soon the ground begins to glisten with a color that looks like diluted blood. People gather in fear, crossing themselves, whispering prayers. Warriors grip their spears and stare upward with tense jaws. The soft sound of falling rain should be comforting, but instead it creates a quiet, heavy dread. To the ancient Greeks, this was not weather, it was a message. A chronicler in these early centuries wrote that the rain fell as if the heavens were wounded. The priests debated endlessly about what it meant. Was it a warning of war? A sign of divine anger? A prophecy of famine? None of them knew, but the event left a mark in their memory, etched into early scrolls that we still read today. And as the soft pattering of red droplets faded into the soil, an uneasiness lingered, like a whisper carried on the wind. Centuries later, the Romans experienced the same unsettling phenomenon. Even in a civilization known for its logic, engineering mastery, and practical mindset, the sight of red rain was enough to shake soldiers and senators alike. Pliny the Elder documented several such events, describing how crimson rain fell over the Italian peninsula. Imagine Roman legions marching along stone roads, their armor clinking softly, only to pause as a warm, reddish drizzle begins to fall over their helmets and shields. The men would look at one another, unsure, palms tightening round their weapons. For an empire that believed heavily in omens, this was no small matter. Still, not all observers reacted with fear. In ancient India, scholars approached the strange rain with curiosity rather than panic. Texts from the early centuries describe waters of the sky tinted like saffron or blood, and writers speculated on natural causes. Picture a monsoon season long ago, the sky thick with clouds, air warm and heavy, palm trees swaying gently in the wind. The rain begins, soft and rhythmic, but its color is off reddish, earthy, unfamiliar. Instead of fleeing, some Indian scholars collected the droplets in clay cups, examining them under the dim glow of oil lamps. Their notes describe the phenomenon calmly, suggesting dust or plant matter as the cause. Though they could not prove it, their instinct pointed them closer to the truth than most civilizations had managed. But Europe, during the Middle Ages, saw the red rain very differently. This was a time when fear and faith shaped every corner of life, when each strange event seemed connected to divine will. In the 12th and 13th centuries, monks recorded multiple events in which blood fell from the sky, and these descriptions were filled with dread. Imagine narrow stone streets, flickering candlelight in small chapel windows, and the soft echo of church bells through medieval fog. Now picture villagers watching the sky darken, the clouds shifting into a rusty red. When the first drop falls, a mother clutches her child, pulling them indoors. A monk raises his eyes to the sky, whispers a prayer, and dips a trembling finger into the red droplet on the sill. The color smears like paint. Word spreads quickly, the heavens are bleeding. And often, tragedy followed not because the rain brought disaster, but because fear disrupted the fragile balance of life. In one recorded case, entire towns abandoned their homes after red rain, believing plague or war was imminent. Panic pushed them into unfamiliar territories where sickness already lingered. By fleeing the omen, they ran straight into real danger. The soft fall of crimson rain became a remembered symbol of fate, even though nature alone was responsible. As we drift further through time, breathe slowly and imagine the rhythmic sound of rain steady, soothing, constant. The world moves on, centuries pass, and yet the mystery remains. In the early 1800s, European newspapers reported red rain again. Journalists described it with dramatic flair, stirring readers with visions of a sky turned scarlet. Scientists of the era collected samples and studied them under primitive microscopes. Some believed it was dust from the Sahara Desert. Others suspected volcanic ash. Another group believed in atmospheric rest particles of iron lifted into the clouds. Each theory carried fragments of truth, like puzzle pieces scattered across generations. But the most intense modern case did not arrive until the year 2001, in the warm, lush landscape of Kerala, India. For almost 2 months, red rain fell intermittently over towns and villages. Imagine waking each morning to the soft drumming of monsoon rain, stepping outside, and seeing your hands stained red. The color flowed in gutters, streaked across rooftops, tinted the clothes left outside to dry. People were bewildered, yet not terrified, curious, confused, captivated. Scientists rushed to the region, collecting samples in glass vials. Under the microscope, they found tiny, resilient particles, red microalgae, strong enough to survive extreme heat and cold. Even with this explanation, the event felt ancient, like something pulled from the oldest myths. The sound of the rain, soft, gentle, warm, remained the same as it had been for thousands of years. Only the color was different, and that alone was enough to stir memories buried deep in human history. As you imagine the rainfall now, let the sound of it settle your thoughts. Steady drops tapping leaves, warm air brushing the skin, the world washed in a strange, but beautiful shade of red. Throughout history, red rain has symbolized fear, prophecy, or divine warning. But tonight, beneath the soft whisper of this story, you can see it for what it truly is, nature performing one of its quiet miracles. Dust from distant deserts lifted skyward by powerful winds, carried across continents, falling as colored rain. Pollen drifting high into the atmosphere. Microorganisms traveling invisibly through the air. The sky is not just blue or gray, it's alive, constantly shifting, storing memories in its clouds. Ancient people did not understand this, but they felt its mystery deeply. And in a way, even with all our knowledge, the mystery remains. Because there's something undeniably haunting about standing beneath a red sky, watching droplets fall that seem to come from another world. Something that reminds us how small we are, how vast the planet is, and how much of its beauty lies in its unpredictability. Let your breathing slow now, deep and gentle, as we return to those ancient scenes. Picture a Greek hillside, red droplets falling softly onto olive trees. Picture Roman soldiers pausing mid-march, their armor damp and tinted with rust-colored specks. Picture medieval villagers huddled by candlelight, whispering about omens. Picture Indian scholars making notes on pieces of palm leaf, curious and unafraid. Picture modern scientists in Kerala holding glass vials up to the light, fascinated by what they see. The rain has always been a companion to humanity, a soft rhythm that follows us through every chapter of our existence. Sometimes clear, sometimes stormy, sometimes red, but always meaningful, always ancient, always whispering stories to those who listen. As the last echoes of this tale drift into silence, imagine the sky calming, the clouds parting, and the soft hush of night returning. You are safe beneath this quiet sky. This ancient companion that has watched over humanity since the beginning. The mystery has been told, the rain has faded, And now, gently, peacefully, it is time to rest.